What's up guys, Falla here, and today we have actually Nestor as a model. So many of you were asking about his haircut on a live stream that I did one day, so here is. For today's haircut, Danny is going to be cutting the hair, so I'm actually going to put Danny's information, social media here on the screen, and also I'm going to put on the description. Also Nestor, so you guys can follow them on social media. They're super dope barbers, and you know they're part of the team, the Fit Barber team. Anyway, we're gonna start by wetting the hair. After you wet the hair, here I want to show you a little diagram of what we're gonna do. How you can see here, we are gonna leave the we can still square, but we're gonna leave the front a tiny bit longer, just because of the type of haircut that he gets. So you can see the front is gonna be over directed a lot. So that's pretty much I wanted to show you a little diagram where you can, so it's still square, just I guess you can call like a little triangle on the front, just because of how, you know, like extended the front is, if you want to call it like that, over directed is. So pretty much what we do to create this is divide the hair into 3 parts, how we did on the last video. If you haven't watched the last video, I'm going to leave the link right here in the description. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create that mohawk sectioning pretty much. Then we're going to cut the middle, that's going to be our guide. And then what we're going to do, we're going to use horizontal sections to kind of connect that using that middle vertical section that we created. We're going to use that as our guide to kind of create a square on the top. So pretty much what you can see, like then you just grabbing sectionings and using the middle guide that we created at the beginning to, you know, obviously cut the top square. How you can see all the hair goes up, not to the side, not really following the shape of the head. It just goes directly up, so you're actually over directing the sides a tiny bit. But you can see, you know, the sides are being directed a tiny bit to the middle, but we want to create that length because we want to keep it square. Most of the haircuts, you know, I said in the last video, I would say like 90% of the haircuts for a man haircut, like they are actually look better when they're square, just because it looks more masculine, and that's something we want to maintain. So here then is you know, cutting the front a little bit shorter because it was still too long, and just matching that to the sides, how you can see. And I'm gonna stop talking and just you guys can enjoy you know, the video. Just follow what he's doing. If you don't know what he's doing right now, I would recommend you to watch the last video that I did, because I explained this technique. You know, the reason why I don't want to explain everything is because I want to make sure that you guys learn from the last video. So once he's done with this step, then I'll come back and, you know, and I can continue explaining what we're doing. So now that he's done, what we're gonna do, we're gonna blow dry that hair. We're gonna kind of style it a little bit. We want to dry in the direction that we want the hair to be. So just make sure you dry it, you fully dry it. It's important because we're gonna use the clippers now. And honestly, I mean, a lot of manufacturers, clipper manufacturers, say that you can use the clippers while the hair is wet, but in my opinion, not really, because they don't cut the same. It's like trying to cut grass when it's wet, you know, it's not a good idea. So anyways, here we're going to use our Andy's TL liner, the cordless version, which by the way is an awesome clipper. If you haven't gotten it, it's honestly my opinion the best trimmer on the market right now. Anyway, so we're gonna create our first guideline. How you can see, this is gonna be like a mid to high in the front, but it's gonna drop towards the back. We want this because it's gonna be like a drop fade, to say it like that, but how you can see that the front is fairly high. So this is like a different type of, I think this fade has a name. Some people call it like a slope fade or something like that. Anyway, we just call it the Nestor haircut. So yeah, so now we're gonna go ahead and use electric shaver just to shave the sides. Make sure that you don't go all the way to the line, the first guideline that you made. You want to leave a little gap so you can fade the shaver into the trimmer, right? You want to leave a little gap because you still want to create that transition, right? If you have problems erasing that line, just use the trimmer again to kind of erase whatever line you leave with the trimmer. Here I'm going to show you a little diagram of exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do shave, we're going to do a lever open, then we're going to do a number 2 closed, and then we're going to down fade from there. So right here we're going to use the lever open. How I said, we're going to create a guide that's going to be around half an inch to 3/4 of an inch, depending on how spread out you want your fade. Then his technique is very different than mine. He likes to make his face a little bit tighter, so that's the reason why he's if you notice and you go to check him out on Instagram, you're gonna see that his face are like more compressed, tight, but just super nice. But just different technique of how I like to do my face. My face are a little more open. So anyway, so here he made his guide, and then he's gonna start erasing it right away. So what he did is that he's starting to close that lever little by little. So he started with the lever fully open, and then he's closing it, how you can see, and then closing it a little more until that line starts disappearing. Just make sure as you close the lever, you don't go as high with the machine, right? Because if you start going high with the machine when it's closed, obviously you're gonna create another line, and then it's just gonna start taking the fade too high. Reason why he's like starting erasing the fade, like the skin line right away, is because a lot of people have problems with this. I feel like if you erase that line right away, you're gonna avoid having to erase it at the end, and then you're gonna start erasing the fade again and all that stuff. So anyways, here he's gonna go ahead and use a number 4. And then what he's gonna do, he's gonna start down fading pretty much. So just do it with the lever closed, and then just down fading. You don't want to go all the way in, because remember, we're trying to maintain a square on the top. If you go in, you're gonna start rounding the shape on the top, and that's not what we want in this case. So you can see, like, he's just going a straight line, not going into the top of the hair. So this is called down fading pretty much. So down fading, what it means is that you're gonna start with the from top to bottom. That's what it means. You're down fading. You're starting from the highest guard or whatever you're gonna do on top, then you're gonna fade from there to all the way to the bottom. Here then it's user number 3. Usually when you down fade, you want to start with the lever open, and then you close it. And that's kind of like the way down fading works. So you start open, then close. So it's a number 3. And it's gonna be the same steps, so I'm just gonna let you watch it. So you're just gonna go from 3, then a 2, then a 1.5, then a 1, and back to the skin. So if I feel like I have something to say, then I'll say. Now just watch the video. It's everything is explained here. The one thing I do want to say is that just make sure as you you start going down. Once the guards start becoming smaller, you might not want to just open and close the lever right away. You might just want to like close it little by little. It depends on your experience. If you are a very experienced barber, then you can just open and close it right away. But if you're not, then I would recommend you to close it little by little. And obviously, like anything else, when you have the lower guards, you don't want to go all the way up with the machine, right? Because then you're gonna start creating more lines. So as you lower the guards, you wanna not go as high with the machine. That's just like a little thing I wanted to say. I just don't want you guys to start going high again and you guys have to raise the fade. This right here is the 116, the half, or the 0, and then these. This is, I think, I like this card. A lot of barbers don't use it. They say they don't need it, and it's true. You don't need this card. You really don't need it. But if you have it, oh man, it makes your life so much easier. It makes you faster, more productive, in my opinion. I know some barbers say that, oh yeah, I don't use it because I don't, it's one less card that I gotta use. You're completely right, but like when you don't use this card, you have to freehand a lot of that last line that you leave. With this, you don't have to just slap it in. You just fade whatever you need to fade and then just remove it. In my opinion, it's something that everybody needs. In my opinion, I mean, how I said, like, you don't really need it because you can cut without it, but I do feel like it's a necessity. Like, I feel like it makes your life easier, and it's already there. It's, Wall made it, so why not use it, right? With Andes, you still have the 116. The 116 on the end is a little weird, to be honest with you. It's not as small, so it's kind of like almost a 1, so it doesn't work the same way. But in Andes, it does. In Wall, I'm sorry, not in Wall, it does work great. So here, then he's going to start using clipper over comb. This is my favorite technique, how all of you know. It's funny, actually Danny started using the technique because he will see me the way I would do it, and I was trying to explain to him about shapes and all this stuff. And something you guys gotta know is that we are always learning. When we are at the shop, we always sharing ideas with each other, and try to help each other grow. And I know they have learned a lot from me, the same way that I have learned a lot from them over years. So that's important. It's important to have a team that in which we can all help each other grow. And there's no jealousy. There's none of that all the shops have. We work together because we want to grow. We want to help each other. We all been friends for so many years. So it's cool. It's cool to be able to get to that point in a shop. So anyways, here we're gonna continue with haircut. Here we're gonna shape up the forehead. He does it the same way I do it. We start right in the middle, we create a guide in the middle, and then we connect the sides to that guy in the middle. You don't want to push back the shape up. It's not needed. Here you're just following the natural growth, the hairline exactly where it is, and that's it. How I said, you don't need to push it back. I know some barbers push it back just to make it sharp. If that's what the client wants, then that's great, because that's what the client's asking. But if you don't need to push it back, just to make it sharp, you can always use color. You can explain to the client, look, this is where your hairline grows. We're going to keep it natural, but if you want it sharper, we can add some color. I can give you, you can apply some hair fibers just in case the client has somewhere to go. Or, it's just, in my opinion, man, it's better just to add color and make it sharp that way than have to push it back, and then in 3 days the hairline is growing back and it just looks disgusting. Anyway, here Nestor gets like a little line on the eyebrow, which I think is pretty cool. It's trending right now in a lot of European countries, so I think this is a cool thing. Pretty much all you do is just pick a spot right there on the eyebrow and just create the line with the trimmer, and that's about it. You wanna, if you want it to be more noticeable, then what you do, you shave it with the razor, and that's about it. Here we apply a hot towel. After the hot towel, we apply a little bit of shaving gel, and then right now we're just using the razor. The razor is pretty easy to use, honestly. You just gotta make sure you push the skin and you put the razor in like 45-degree angle. If you don't know how to use the razor, what you can do is buy a razor and like a straight edge, and just try to practice on yourself. Try to shave your own legs, your arms. Believe me, if you cut yourself, after you cut yourself like 2-3 times, you will learn how to use it. That, in my opinion, that's the best way. Something with the hairlines is that always make sure you go against the grain. You can go with the grain first and then go against the grain, because this is going to allow you to make that hairline look super sharp. and naturally super sharp, you know. So you always want to go against the grain. This is very important. Now that, you know, like anything else, any style, the most important thing after the haircut, in my opinion, especially if you guys doing a video, you guys taking pictures, is style the client's hair. Even if you're not doing any of those things, always style the client's hair. You know, I know a lot of barbers just, they don't have the time, so all they do is just kind of put a product and that's it, letting the clients go like that. But you know what, a great barber is always going to style the hair because it shows the client exactly how good the haircut can look. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. You want to show your client what's the best, you know, how that haircut is going to look if you style it correctly. And you want to teach the client how to use a blow dryer, how to style the hair, what product is best, all that stuff. That's the best way to retain clientele. If you educate your clients will forever stay with you, because you are probably the only barber out there actually teaching them this type of things that they have no idea. And instead of they having to go somewhere else to find out, they'll learn it from their own barber, so they will always be loyal. And that's it, guys. This is the rest of the video. This is the final result. You can see it's like a slow fade, so it's high on the front, low on the back, drop fade, you know, whatever you want to call it. And the top is just, it's a square, but he kind of does it more like a little bit of a triangle, kind of like a faux hug on top. That's just the style that he has. All natural. You didn't put any fibers, no color, any of that. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to follow them on social media, and don't forget to subscribe. See you guys on the next one.